Children, this is standard 10th, subject self-development. Now self-development is all-round development. Let us begin with the first lesson, that is me as a citizen. As we all know, you are the first citizen. You are the future of the nation, a nation builder. We'll try to understand what does citizen mean. Citizen is one of the most commonly used word in a democracy. It is used at all levels of politics. A citizen is a person who enjoys, rights and performs his or her duties in a state. Every Indian living in India is not a citizen. A citizen is one who is a member of the state and takes part in making a government. Children, what does a good citizen mean? To be a good citizen, you have to follow certain rules. You have to be honest. Honest can be in many ways. As you all know, honesty is the best policy. Making friends. You have to make friends where you will grow up in a right way. Being responsible. As a citizen, you should know your responsibility. Be responsible in all your ways. For example, as a student, you know what is your responsibility. You have to study well, do your assignments, complete your work on time, come to school on time. You have to follow certain rules like come in full school uniform and so on. Being helpful. Always be a helpful person to the other. Help your fellow being in his studies, or it could be so many other ways. Being fair. Be fair to your friends. Don't be biased. Don't be partial. You should always have a leadership. Being a leader is also important. Take part, take initiative to do any work assigned to you. Now, being a leader is not that you have to be dominating, but show your leadership in a very kind way. Being a good citizen doesn't always mean that you have to follow only these rules, but there are so many other ways, like keeping your environment clean, seeing that the waste is thrown into the dustbin, helping a person crossing the road, being a good person in life, and there are so many other things. democracy. What do you mean by democracy? It is a government of the people, by the people, and for the people. Now children, in India, we do not follow a dictatorship, that is, the rules led by the king or a queen. Ours is a democratic nation. It may seem like there are lots of rules, but rules are important. There are rules everywhere. Rules may be at home, at school, or at the park. Now children, why do we need rules? Rules keep us safe. Without rules, children could move out from school at any time without seeking any permission. And that would be something wrong. Rules keep things fair. For example, in a society, there are certain rules where you can't play loud music, or there are certain timings where children can play. All these rules we need for our smooth functioning and for our well-being. There are different type of rules which has to be formulated with the concern of people who communicate on a particular topic or concept. Our country has laws. Now, laws are rules. The same way, children, there are certain rules which reminds us when we are traveling, road signs. It tells us people for a safe driving. There are some laws which help us to keep certain places, public places, private places, clean. Not to litter, not to keep the place untidy. So, a good citizen always obeys and follows all the rules and regulations. As I've already said, a good citizen always obeys the rules and regulations of the nation. Being a good citizen does not only mean respect human beings, but also living as well as non-living things. It is very important for us to care for the nature, like say no to plastic. Recently we have read in the news about the marine life. For example, a whale was found dead because it had swallowed tons of plastic. In a similar manner, let us pledge to take care of public facilities provided to us. Children, what do you mean by interdependence? Interdependence is depending on one another for your needs. Let me give you one example. How nations are depending on one another. No matter how big or developed the nation may be, it is still dependent on the other smaller nation for its needs. In the similar way, we are interdependent on nature. Look at the picture over here. Bigger animals depend on smaller animals for their food. There are two examples in the picture. The first one is a life cycle of how different creatures are dependent on smaller creatures and plants. On the other hand, a simple example of how a product is produced. It may seem very simple to pay and buy a small chocolate, but do we realize what are the things that go around to make a chocolate? Yes, this is an example of interdependence. There needs to be raw material, then it has to be produced in a factory, later on transportation to a shop, and then bought by a consumer. So we are interdependent for little things. Rights and duties. These are the two sides of a same coin. A moment a child is born, he rightfully belongs to that family and has a right to live. But it is also his duty to live his life fruitfully. As a citizen of India, there are fundamental rights and duties. These rights and duties are laid for the smooth functioning and for the welfare of the people. Like the way you find your rules and regulations in the calendar, rules and regulations are also laid for the citizen in the Constitution of India. These rules cannot be violated. It is our duty to follow them. For example, it is very important for every citizen of India to cast his vote. Children, in the previous slide, we learned the definition of democracy. Now you see the challenges we face as a democratic nation. Democracy refers to a political system in which government is formed by the people, implemented either directly or through elected representatives. Although it has been accepted as the best form of government in the modern world, yet it has its own problems. Most of the established democracies of the world face the challenges, but they differ from country to country. Now children, there are three main challenges of democracy. Foundational challenge, challenge of expansion, and deepening of democracy. Now look at the concept map regarding the challenges to democracy in India. The first one is poverty. Next one is economic inequality, which means inequality between the rich and the poor. Then there is illiteracy. We all know we are facing illiteracy, corruption. There is so much of corruption in our country. Then there is political violence and many more. To be a good citizen, you have to follow the 6 pillars of character. The first one is trustworthiness. You have to be very trustworthy. Second, respect. Learn to respect every human being. Show respect to the senior citizens, to your elders at home, and in the society. The third one is responsibility. Learn to know your responsibility. As a citizen, we have a lot of responsibilities. The next one is fairness. Be fair in your work. Be fair to your fellow being. The next is caring. Be caring to your family members, to your friends. Don't be partial in your ways. The next one is citizenship. Be true to your citizen because you are a future citizen. You are the one who is going to build up a proper nation, a true nation.